Welcome to another episode of GCM Eats, the Tailgate Edition. We would like to thank our sponsors, Benny Keith and Comfort Temp, for making the show possible. This week we got a nice special crew of guys. We got Jack from BTW, we got Mark Pitts from the Florida Gators, and we got Jonathan from Benny Keith. So guys, I just want to say how awesome this place is. This is a nice, huge restaurant, and I love the atmosphere. I'm not sure if y'all, our viewers, have ever been here before, but this place, it has great atmosphere. They have, every once in a while they do shows. They do karaoke and things like that on the weekdays. And so one of the things that I want to ask you, Jack, is why BTW? How did you get involved with BTW?
BTW is in kind of an offshoot of this restaurant called Hurricane Grill and Wings. It's about 50 or 60 of them throughout the country, primarily started in the West Palm Beach area. I knew a couple of the franchisees. I liked the food. I liked sort of like the whole theme. It's a beachy theme. I knew the owner of the concept at the time, and I said I wanted to do something on a consolidated version. I didn't want full service. I didn't want to deal with a liquor license. So I said, okay, let's take the the best-selling items on the menu, which is burgers, tacos, and wings, consolidate it, and do a fast casual concept. We said we're also targeting a different group, whereas instead of a beachy theme, we said let's go a younger theme. So that's why you see sort of a surfing theme in here, which kind of our target audience is younger kids and younger families.
Yeah, considering you got the college right down the road here.
Exactly. So it's just this is we started with one on University. We closed that. We have one now. This is the only one in existence. Like to do a couple more. It's a good concept.
So Mark. You're from Gainesville. You went to Buchholz, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so, and I hear you're a big fan of this place.
Yeah, in high school, after our Thursday practices, the day before the games, one of the main places we'd go to is here. We'd go here with the whole offensive line and just enjoy our time together and have some fun.
Yeah, you got Buchholz is literally a mile down the road from here.
Yeah, it's very close. It was very convenient for us. So yeah.
So what's your go-to here? Where do you usually come when you?
I definitely go for the wings for the most part. I go bone-in, boneless, but probably boneless more often than not, so yeah.
So Jonathan, kind of explain who Benny Keith is and what your role is with the company.
So Benny Keith is a broadline food distributor. What that is we service restaurants, schools, healthcare, anywhere that serves food. My role with Benny Keith is I'm the marketing manager. So Benny Keith is new to the area. Benny Keith just came here in February. We were Florida Food Service prior, and Florida Food Service, we were over 70 years here in the Gainesville area.
Yes.
So our owners, we had a family ownership. Our owners decided that they would want to retire. So Benny Keith purchased us. Benny Keith is based in Texas. Benny Keith is the 5th largest food distributor in the country. There's locations in Oklahoma, New Mexico, Texas, Arkansas, Alabama, and now in Florida. And we service everything from Savannah, Georgia, all the way down below Orlando, with hopes to go all the way to the Keys.
So, and I would say probably companies like Benny Keith are in tough positions right now, considering supply chain issues and everything that's going on with that. How between like the restaurant, maybe Jackie can chime in on this too, how have y'all been working together to accomplish, basically be able to serve the product and food choices? Because there's many restaurants where I go to, a lot of times they're out of food products. And how do y'all handle all that?
Right. People like Jack, their patience really helps us a lot. I mean, supply chain is difficult right now, and a lot of it is out of our control. Our manufacturers just don't have the labor. They don't have the raw ingredients. The logistics and freight to get it here is outrageous. So a lot of you're seeing price increases across the board from a lot of that stuff. And customers like Jack, they have to bear the brunt of it with some of the outages and things like that. But they're flexible, and if they don't have this, they can offer another thing. And that's part of our job, is to be able to be a consultant to say, hey, listen, we're running short with crinkle cut French fries. Maybe you can go with a straight cut or something like that, and try to help them through some of these difficulties that we've got.
So, Jack, have you had to be a little innovative on your menu? during this last couple of years?
Now that I have them, I want to put them on the hook here, saying, let's discuss some of my price increases in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I'm the marketing manager.
No. I mean, because it happens. I mean, it's just all of a sudden, boneless wings go from $30 to $40, in overnight. And, it's out of their control, but it obviously gets passed on to us. You try not to push that onto the consumer as much as possible. I mean, the great thing about these guys, it's family-owned business, number one, which he said. I don't remember who hooked me up with them, but they're right down the street. So literally, it's, they kind of took a look at my product list and said, okay, we'll carry this stuff for you. So, in this day and age, I'm not the only restaurant doing this, but you have to use multiple purveyors because you don't know what's coming in on your truck. If I order wings from so-and-so and they don't show up, I have to call these guys and say, by the way, do you have wings? Yes. Okay, I'll be down there in an hour and eat 5 cases of wings. Having them that close is just, I mean, the words can't describe how easy it is. I mean, it's tremendous having them there. And plus, they're great to deal with. It's a great company to deal with.
So, all right, let's get some talk about some football, Mark. How'd you end up at the University of Florida?
So, obviously, as you said, I went to Buell's High School. I was committed to UCF for a while. I was thinking about being a Knight, didn't really have much recruiting from UF. His son actually was my quarterback, the offensive line coach. His son was my quarterback my senior year. So there was a lot of pressure from that, and I'd have a relationship with him, but there wasn't much for sure about recruiting. And then they invited me to a few games at the end of the season, my senior year, and I talked to him, and we were talking about a preferred walk-on position possibly. And I was already eligible for Fulbright Futures, which is a full academic scholarship in Florida in Florida schools and state schools. And so I was with my dad talking to the coach, and it just seemed like the right fit because I grew up in Gainesville. I lived here since I was 4. I've always been a Gator fan, been a huge Gator fan. I always dreamed of playing on the Gators. So when I was eventually given that option to be a preferred walk-on and having that academic scholarship and being able to do that, I just felt like the right move, and I felt like I had to do it.
So what other schools were recruiting you at the time?
So I had scholarship offers from schools like UCF, West Virginia, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Ivy Leagues. I had about 30 offers total.
You got Ivy League offers.
Yes.
So good in the classroom, I guess.
Yes, that goes hand in hand with the academic scholarship too.
Yeah.
But the Ivy Leagues were really, really cool to visit, but they definitely seemed a little preppy for me. So I felt more at home here for the Gators. So.
Yeah. So Jack,
I'm laughing. Excuse me. I grew up in New England, so I laugh because our idea when I was growing up of big-time college football was the Harvard-Yale game. That was big-time football. This is before BC started their football program. So I get it. If here, it's all about football. In the South. So for someone of your ability, I mean, I don't want to say it's a step down to play football at an Ivy League school, but I mean, you could do that in your sleep. I mean, there are high school teams that are probably better than most of the Ivy League teams up there, I would gather.
Yeah, the Ivy League teams. I actually visited Harvard and Princeton. It was really cool. One of the biggest things. I actually really liked Princeton, the coaching staff a lot.
Great campus.
Yeah, it was a really good campus, and they're also the #1 school in the country too. So I was I really was considering it, but the main thing was, well, for one, it's really far up north. I'm not used to all that, and it was really expensive because here I have a school for free, so it just seemed like a much better choice, and I just had more accessibility because my parents are here, all that. So it just felt like it would have been too hard of a move to go up there, having to pay $40,000 a year or whatever. So it just seemed like a better move.
What are you majoring
in? Sports management.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So Jack, you haven't always been in the restaurant industry, correct?
Correct.
So what did you do before you got into the restaurant industry?
I was born and raised in Boston, spent 30 years in New York, worked on Wall Street for 30 years, retired in 2007, got involved in a couple of restaurant concepts down south. We flipped one. I have another one down south, have a couple stores, and literally just got bored with retirement. So I don't want to say took a stupid pill, but decided, unfortunately, to get into the restaurant business. And it's honestly, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. It's, and you're in touch with restaurants all the time. It's nonstop. It's 24-hour policing. It's, the no call, no shows, the labor issues, the food shortages. Now the restaurant business itself is hard, but now you throw all these curveballs on top of it. It's been challenging. It really has.
Yeah. What year was it that you got opened up your first?
Up here?
Up here, yeah, because BTW wasn't your first restaurant, right?
No, it wasn't. I opened one on University in 2018, and I say, when you first come up to Gainesville, I came up in the fall, like anything else. You get excited, you think football, this is great, it's a great location, and jumped in with both feet. Then you realize, as you take a step back, that obviously there's parking issues there.
Yeah.
You have kids which disappear in wintertime, for a month, and they disappear for 2.5 months in the summertime. So it became a very seasonal business. It just didn't make sense to keep that location open because there was no steady income on an annual basis, month to month. We opened this one, and we opened in February of 2019. And although we're in front of Santa Fe College, you think we're geared toward college students, but we're really not. We marketed this more toward families.
Correct.
I said, I don't have a liquor license. I don't have any desire to own a liquor license. I want this to be a family place. We have a patio outside. We're dog friendly. I want this to be, like you said, I want this to be the place where kids come after their practices. Teams come after. Grab something at a reasonable price, get in and out, and have just a fun environment. So we opened this in 2019. Obviously, COVID hit in 20.
Yeah.
Struggles for all of us. And hopefully we're on the rebound. Although every time you turn around, there's price increases coming from my purveyors. But it is what it is. I mean, everybody's aware of the shortages. Everybody's aware of the trucking issues. You just make the best of it.
So, and we're going to get back to that after we come back from our break. So we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, for Comfort Temp and Benny Keith, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to GCM Eats, and once again, we want to thank our sponsors, Comfort Temp and Benny Keith. And we know we got food at the table here right now, but we can get this delicious food over here. We can get $2 off here at BTW's on the GCM app and save $2 here at GATOR BTW. So, Jack, you want to kind of go over what we got in front of us over here, all the different type of foods and varieties of food we got?
Sure. Up there in the top left, you have the Mexican street corn. That's kind of a hidden gem. People really like that. We have another version called lazy street corn, which is basically that without the mess. You can eat that with a spoon out of a cup. I think you're eating, looks like lemon pepper wings.
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of, looks like honey barbecue. I think Jonathan has this is a great combination because he's got grilled chicken, bacon, lettuce, and tomato, and it's really hard to screw up bacon, lettuce, and tomato with chicken. And obviously Mark over here, what he was talking about earlier, that's his go-to. I think that's the boneless special. He's got 10 boneless wings. I think he's trying to watch his carbs because he doesn't have fries with that, but it is what it is. And then, obviously here we have the other set of wings.
So, yeah, my favorite's definitely he says a hidden gem. The Mexican street corn here is phenomenal. Kills chilies, by the way, just so you know. So Jonathan, I hear that we were talking over the break that you and Mark actually know each other already.
Yeah, we do. Mark and my oldest son played football together in high school up through 10th grade, and then my son transferred over to Santa Fe High School and actually got hurt and then stopped playing, but continued on with weightlifting and track and field. But yeah, so it was good to see Mark again. I haven't seen him in a while, and his dad and I were on the booster clubs together there at Buholtz, and so I've known his family for a few years.
Yeah, actually, he was one of the first. Gunner was the first, one of the first people at Buell's I met. In 8th grade, we had like a football like spring thing for all the incoming 8th graders or incoming 9th graders, and he was one of the first. He was like friendliest, one of the friendliest people I talked to, and just had an instant connection and bond. So
Yeah, and they're both linemen, so.
So, Mark, I have to say, his first comment when you walked in, saying, he must have had a growth spurt from 10th grade. Because I guess you became a big boy in a couple of years.
yeah, in 9th grade, I was like 6'3", and I've grown like 3.5 inches since then. So.
Yeah.
So Mark, when it, becoming a Gator, and you grew up being a Gator fan, and I know you kind of got screwed on the whole. Your first game was the 2020 season where we had what 20% capacity, whatever it was. But coming out, what is it to actually wear a Gator uniform today and seeing other Gator greats wear it, and then now you're one of those Gators wearing that same exact jersey?
Yeah, it really was a dream come true. Just being a kid, always watching the games, just seeing all these Gator players and just wanting to be one of them. And actually, the first time I put on the jersey for like a photo shoot, I was just like, it's surreal because this is something that I've always wanted to do. And actually being there and being able to do it, and seeing all these I saw Tim Tebow like a couple times when I was younger, and it was always like this really cool experience. And just now him walking around the facility like 3 times, I saw him last year, and just like a normal person, I was like, wow, it's just really cool just having all these people around that you always like. That you just like that are famous, and just a really cool experience. So.
Yeah, I mean, because I grew up, who I idolized was Steve Spurrier, Danny Warfel, and obviously yours was the Tebow era, and seeing those guys all the time. I want to know what it is because I've done a Gator game on the field. I used to help do the chains. I did a couple games with running sidelines on the Gator games with the chains and everything, and one thing I noticed is being on the field is a totally different atmosphere than sitting in the stand as a fan. What's that experience sitting on the field with 90,000 people screaming?
Yeah, very much so. Just being on the field, you get to you can look up and just see everyone is all looking down at you or at the field. So it's just having all that sound coming directly to you, just being there, just knowing that everyone wants to be where you're at. They all want to be on the field with you and experience that with the players. And just being able to watch the game from the sideline instead of just being in the stands like I've been all my life, it was just really cool. And especially in the Bama game this year or last year, it was maxed out. It was like 90,000. The crowd noise and the sound from that, it was just really cool. And it was probably the coolest experience I've ever had at UF so far. So.
Yeah, I remember when I was on the sideline, normally you look up, you can see skyline and everything. You literally have to look straight up to see any skies. Because all you see is just the orange and blue in your vision. And then on top of that, I mean, like I remember I'm yelling to the people next to me so we can just communicate. A lot of times I'm telling the guys, all right, players, back up, back up, back up. I'm running through. And they can't hear nothing, And it just that environment that always got me. I was like, wow, these guys get to experience this on the field. I don't know how they can complete a game. I mean, I'm like, if you have vertigo, I don't know how you can play in that stadium if you have vertigo. It always feels that the ground's always shaking and everything.
Yeah, just how excited all the fans get and are into the game. It's just really cool. Always been a really cool experience. I just always loved that, and it's always something I always wanted to do. And just being able to be there from like dreaming about it and actually now being there and in my shoes, it was just awesome.
So John, I mean, how many Gator games? Obviously, you raised your kids in here in Gainesville. What was the experience like with you in the swamp and going to Gator games?
Oh, it's pretty cool. My father-in-law played at Florida.
Okay.
He played football from '65 to '69. So, growing up, I was never really a Gator fan.
So he got to play with Spurrier.
He did, yeah. So I mean, like I said, I grew up in Lachue,
okay.
And just we didn't get over here too much to the Gator games, and I grew up kind of with our family. We farmed and ranched and different things, so we never got over here too much. But I started dating my wife. She was from Gainesville, and then like I said, her dad was the one that played. So as soon as I started dating my wife, it was orange and blue all the way. So we were at all the Gator games and all the different events, and it was really cool just to experience that. And then, like I said, being part of him, I've got to experience a few things. Like we've gone to the different reunions. I've got to meet young blood, and got to meet Carlos Alvarez, and some of those guys got to meet Spurrier on a different level, at those reunions, because they're, that's normal people. It's not like you see Spurrier like you see him where he's on stage. He was just normal. That was Steve Spurrier being Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
And it was cool to that. But it's also cool too, just being a Gator fan and being in the stands. Knowing kids like Mark and Trent Whittemore and some of those boys that my son have known. It's a sense of pride. It's almost like I'm so proud to see him run out on the field when he goes out to play, and to see Trent do well. And it's really cool. It just can give me goosebumps just thinking about it. You see those kids and them, and it's like you have a sense of investment with those guys, and it's really cool as a fan to see kids like Mark succeed and do a great job.
Okay, so Jack, you're here in Gainesville now. You're obviously not here from Gainesville. What got you up into the Gainesville-Ocala area?
Well, I want to get back to talking about the stadium for a second. Coming from the Northeast, obviously we follow professional sports. You go to most stadiums, there's space, and the stands go this way. The first college football game I went to was at the Swamp, and it was amazing. Just for the simple fact that they try to prep you for the noise, and you can't even comprehend how loud it is. It was a great experience. I mean, I just can't describe how loud it was. What brought me up here ended up my daughter. We bought a farm in Reddick. She got into equine rehabilitation. She had first grandson. So obviously my wife moved up here full time. So I said, if I want to see my wife, and I've been married 39 years, I better find something to do to keep myself busy. So we opened the restaurant.
So how do you like the golf courses here?
It's they're okay. I mean, I'm spoiled. Obviously, I'm from South. I mean, when I first moved down to Florida, I went to the Jupiter area. So you get a little spoiled in the Jupiter area with the number of pros and the number of good golf courses there are down there. So you come up here and it's there's some good golf courses, but I don't have time to play golf anymore, so it doesn't matter.
So Mark, when you're not wearing the Gator uniform, where are we going to see you?
Well, a lot of time. Well, pretty much what I'll do right now is just academics and football. So whenever I'm not on the field or on the practice field, I'm usually just hanging out with friends and my girlfriend. Just enjoying life, trying to relax. Usually, not too. Sometimes I'll go play basketball. Just have some fun, but a lot more times I'm more just trying to chill and relax and just get a little more calm vibes instead of just from always being active and going on and on with football. So yeah.
So Mark, with the new coaching staff and everything, and kind of tell us how that transition has been for you in particular, and how maybe if it's something with the strength and conditioning or your everyday routines and everything. How's that transition been?
So when I first heard about it, I was very unsure because being preferred walk-on, I was told that I was going to be treated the same, and I've been told other coaches have not done the same. So I was worried. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be treated how I feel like I don't know if they're gonna take me as a joke or actually try to help me get better and learn. But definitely with this new staff, they've definitely shown that they don't. It doesn't matter if you're a walk-on or a scholarship player. They treat you the same. They're going to coach you the same, just as hard as everyone else, and give you the same opportunities and all that. So that was really cool. There's definitely a difference between the two coaching staffs, especially with the weightlifting and conditioning and stuff. We definitely run more than we did. I feel like we're more in shape. We lift one less day, but it's more focused. So you're still getting stronger, but you have more time for recovery. And on those recovery days, we work on speed school, so we work on getting faster. And they showed us actually some stats from it, and they showed that we're all getting actually there's true results from it, that it's working and that everyone's getting. They showed each position group and how they gained over a mile per hour or 2 miles per hour from the winter, and just showing like proven results that it's actually working. So it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you too with the weightlifting and all. With the, you think with offensive linemen, y'all are, furniture movers, and just a real heavy weight, heavy rep, stuff like that. So you're doing more of like a balanced workout where they're doing a lot of, like you said, speed techniques and some of that stuff. You're not in there just really pressing it hard. So.
Yeah, we are. Well, we are pressing it hard, but they definitely have a focus on being in shape, being conditioned, and be able to move and be faster. They're very focused on our weight goals. They gave everyone weight goals. They give everyone these DEXA scans, which like shows your body fat, and it's like, this is what you are now. This is where we want you to be, and gives you a time frame and all that. So it's really cool how focused they are and like organized, and this is what we want you to do. Like they give us 3 nutritionists, so they're like 3 full-time nutritionists, which is more than I think anyone in the country. So they give you the resources. So if you really want to apply yourself, you can, and you have every option to do so. So.
Yeah, I heard the new coaches. He's extremely organized and extremely strategic in what he does. Are you seeing that? That's just the organization everything is like minute to minute planned out.
Yes, they show us the practice plans, and they have literally every single minute accounted for. Always, everything we do is exactly to the plan that they want it to do. They don't leave any minutes wasted. So that's definitely one thing I've seen with this new staff.
That's cool.
Mark, when do you head back full time? Like, when can you guys start full time practice? Are you doing it now?
So we are full time now, but we start fall camp beginning of August, and that's when we're going to be there for actually starting like padded practices and stuff. Right now we're doing like working out runs, and we have like OTAs, which in the NFL, they do that in the NFL. It's like optional team workouts, but it's definitely not optional. It's just like a similar style. It's no pads. It's just like doing drills, like positions, and then doing like just like one-on-one work, stuff like that. So, yeah.
So, guys, I really want to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Jack, for allowing us to use your facility here, and Mark, thank you for taking some time out of your practice. I know getting away from the field, it's really hard, and thank you for spending some time. And obviously, Jonathan, thank you for everything you've done with this show. Support not just GCM, but all the athletes, be able to have them be seen and feature our restaurants here in Gainesville. So really want to thank you for that.
No, thank you. It's our pleasure for that.
So, and guys, just thank you. We're going to wrap up on this episode, but don't forget to save $2 here at GATOR BTW. Save $2 on the GCM app. Just download it and save yourself some money and have a good time out here. And have a great day.